All right, Combat Convo, you know what it is, man. We back. We about to
Yeah,
review this John Jones fight. Uh and yeah.
zero gone.
So before we get into that, make sure y'all like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell if you want to be notified. We're growing. I'm so proud of this channel because we went from 100 we went from 30 subscribers to almost 400 subscribers. So we
Yep.
moving fast. Keep sharing, keep putting our content up. We appreciate y'all. Even the negative comments in the joint,
Yeah.
we bring them. If you want to be on the show as a guest and debate us, you definitely can. So
Yep.
we definitely gonna do that. So I'm gonna let you open up this one. Uh, John Jones versus this guy. This guy. God, man, I can't
Hey,
believe this
listen.
guy.
Hey, listen.
Come on,
If I
bro.
told you so, then I told you so. I look.
Come on, bro.
Let me let me backpedal real quick. All
Yeah.
right, so we talking about one of the most decorated champions in UFC history. Hands down, the guy is the GOAT. He was the GOAT at light heavyweight, and now he's going to be the GOAT at heavyweight.
I don't know
Let
about
me
that.
tell, bro. Let me explain. Let me tell you something. I don't see really too many heavyweight contenders in that division that is going to give him too much of a problem at this point. Because at the level that he's fighting at, it's going to be hard to beat him. I'm not saying he cannot be beat, but it's going to take somebody special to beat him. The closest person to do it, he had his opportunity, was Reyes. And, a lot of people say, like myself, say that Reyes might have won that fight. And I'm one of those people. And I'm a John Jones fan, but I definitely feel like John Jones lost that fight. That's just my opinion. But we're not talking about uh, Jones versus Reyes. We're talking about Jones versus Gane. And he did what I expected him to do. You know what I mean? A lot of people was mad. Oh, he didn't strike with the guy. He didn't do. Listen. Last time I remember in a mixed martial arts or a boxing match or whatever, you ain't supposed to stand there and let somebody knock your head off. You're supposed to defend. You're supposed to block. You're supposed to try everything not to get hit and take as minimum of damage as possible. So he did what he's supposed to do. You understand what I'm saying? Gone bouncing all over the place. He shot him to the ground. Gone doesn't have a real strong wrestling background, nor does he have a real off the charts ground and pound game. You understand what I'm saying? And he's definitely not a submissionist because I never seen him submit nothing. You know what I'm saying? So for him doing that, that was smart. I would have did the same thing too. I'm not going to sit there and strike with you. I'm not going to do what you want me to do. I'm going to do what's right for me in order for me to win the fight. And that's what John did. You know what I mean? As soon as Gon swung, he dipped under them, took him down, and everybody basically knew the fight was over after that. There was no way Gon was going to get up because every time Gon tried to even get up, he blocked it. He blocked it. He's put his leg over his leg, sat him right back down, cranked the guillotine choke, and it didn't even look like he was all the way in the guillotine choke until the camera panned to the other side, and you could see him cranking Gon's neck, like really cranking it hard, and you could see Gon like struggling. Then he just tapped, and it was over. I was like, yo, hey, man. What else
All
can you
right.
say?
Well,
What else can anybody say, man?
well,
Listen.
I'm gonna give you some pushback. He gonna get knocked out.
Oh, guess who? Who
Nah, no,
Stripe
fuck,
gonna knock
I'm
him
joking.
out?
Nah, look. Um, Here's my thing with John Jones. Now, maybe it's just the ring rust, but he looks sloppy. Now, I'm gonna say this. He did look sloppy, but I have to forgive him for that because he hasn't fought in years. So I can't really use that. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what happens. Now, I know people gonna be mad at me for saying this, but I think the fight was rigged. And look,
No.
I'm gonna explain why. Right? I thought about this all day. I said, "Damn, you know, it, it, there's no way in the world, right? Just think about it. Now, you might disagree because to you, they don't do no shady stuff in sports,
Nah, I ain't say that. I
right?
just
They
don't feel
they
this fight was
upstanding
rigged
in
though. But go
sports,
ahead.
right?
Hmm.
So now I don't have any proof of this. This is just how I feel. So
Hmm.
you could dismiss this if you want, but it's just how I feel. I think that they gave him that fight because it's a comeback fight. You know what I'm saying? It's a comeback fight.
Hmm.
If John Jones would have lost, look, Francis would have beat John Jones that night, hands down. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Because John Jones was sloppy. Francis is not sloppy. You get what I'm saying? Now, I'm not saying that John Jones isn't good. I'm saying that if that was Francis, he would have lost that fight. You know what I'm saying? Now, as far as what's going on with this dude here, it was a throwaway fight. Easy work. You know what I'm saying?
But that's not Jones's fault. That's who they put in
Come
front
on,
of him.
man. Come on. No, I'm not blaming Jones.
Hmm.
I'm not blaming Jones. But come on. Jones' return and he loses to this bum. What if he would have lost to Francis, it would have been cool because they would have fought again. But imagine if he lost to this guy. His career would have been over.
You're
If
right,
John Jones would have
but
lost last night, nobody would have been checking for him no more. They'd have been, oh, he lost to this guy. He lost it. He's not the GOAT anymore. But he won. Now, do I believe that there was some strings being pulled? Maybe. 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 But for the most part, for me, I'm sorry, man. It was a throwaway fight. It wasn't even a competition. The fight didn't even last 2 minutes, 3 minutes.
listen. It's not even Jones's fault.
But
This
wait a
this is
minute
who.
before I let you
Uh,
go. Bro,
okay.
that dude is not, bro, he went 5 rounds with Francis,
Yeah.
right? He
Hmm.
went 5 rounds with Francis when Francis had bad knees. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
I guess that's a testament of how good John Jones is because he took him out in the first round. And that's what people are going to say. But for me, again, you can't use that because Francis is sharp. I think this guy was a catapult to bring John Jones' career back up because there I believe that there are other people who probably would have gave him some more work than this guy. But they got to build it up. You know what I'm saying? What it look like putting him in the ring with somebody that can potentially beat him, then he lose. You know what I'm saying? So I could be maybe I'm just a maybe I'm just a hater. I'm sorry. Maybe I'm just a hater. Maybe I'm just a hater.
All right. All right. So let me go by saying this, right? All right. I never agreed to the fight with John versus Gane because I didn't think Gane had done enough to be in that situation. I'm not saying that he wasn't he couldn't compete. I'm just saying that he didn't do enough. Like, okay, you went you went 5 rounds with Francis, but Francis had bad knees. Imagine if he didn't have a bad knee, then will we be saying that he went 5 rounds with Francis? Because he took some big shots. And this is what I was kind of annoyed with Dana White about. Because I watched this press conference and Dana White was like, well, if he didn't, if Don didn't go for the heel hook, then we're talking a different fight here. We're talking a different fight. No, no, no. Come on now, be for real. Francis was tagging the crap out of this man. I've watched the tape. Francis caught him with look. If Francis didn't have this those bad that bad knee, bro, God would have been night night. He
Hmm.
caught Gon a few good times, and Gon ate the shots because you know your power comes from your legs. So if you can't plant your legs properly, then the power is not going to be as fierce as it would if you can plant your legs and accelerate that power from your legs all the way up to your upper body. He wasn't able to do that, but he still caught Gon a few times. And this is exactly what John was talking about. Like, you lost to Francis when he had a bad knee. You know what I'm saying? So how do you expect to be somebody like Jones who's healthy? Nothing's wrong with him. On top of that, he's probably the most technical fighter on the UFC roster, hands down. Like, he's very unorthodox. You don't know how to read Jones. I just don't think that, you know what I mean? And not to mention, Gon wasn't even ready for Gon wasn't motivated for a fight. He said, like, you could tell in his posture, he just didn't feel like being there. And this is my thing, right? If you ain't feel like being there, then why'd you take the fight? You know what I'm saying?
That's
Because now
that's
you
what I'm
got,
trying to say.
yeah, but listen, now you got two losses. You don't got one now. You got two losses to two of the greatest heavyweights right now in the division. You
That's not
lost
that's
twice.
but that's not bad. You lost to
I
two of
mean,
the greatest of
it's
all
still
time.
not bad. But this is my thing, right? If he didn't take the fight and he went and just chilled and then let John fight somebody else, you know what I'm saying? He will get a chance to study John because definitely he was next up in line. There was nobody else ahead of him to take that fight.
I
So
I, I
John
want to say
takes the.
this before we get out of here.
Mm-hmm,
Um, I agree with you on that.
mm-hmm.
That's why I say it looked like it was rigged. Now, people could disagree with me, whatever, but I'm saying he didn't look like there was no promo. He didn't do nothing. I just felt like he knew he was gonna lose. You know what I'm saying? I felt like, excuse me, I felt like he said to himself, "Well, um, I'm fighting John Jones, arguably the greatest fighter of all time in UFC history." But he just looked like he wasn't confident. He looked like when he got in the ring, he should have been on Jones from the jump. It shouldn't have been no rap. He should have ran across there because he looked like he was waiting for Jones to make a mistake. That's the biggest mistake you could do. He should have even if he was going to get knocked out or whatever, he should have pummeled him. I'm talking like, "Oh, I'm a gorilla in here with you. I'm going to sling you around." But he didn't do that. He was all defensive and looked like he was timid. Like, no, you should have jumped on his ass. You know what I'm saying? From the gate. Should have made John Jones feel like he was uncomfortable. And you didn't do that. You know what I'm saying? You just looked like you was just there for a check. You know what I'm saying?
I agree with you. I agree
So
with you on that aspect. I do agree with you because he didn't seem like he was there to fight. He didn't seem motivated, but at the same time, like I said before, that's not John's fault. That's
I'm
his
not
fault.
blaming John.
Like, yeah, like who wouldn't be motivated to fight John Jones? You getting paid a good amount of money to fight a Hall of Famer. Basically, he's
I
gonna.
don't think it was that. I think that I think that he was scared. You know what I'm saying?
I believe
I
so
think he was
too.
scared. If you to me, there's other fighters, and I know they're not in the heavyweight class, but if you bring up their names, they would have been on his ass. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree. I agree
Even if
with you.
they not like is Israel. You think Israel would have came out like that? No. You know what I'm
Hell
saying?
no, Israel wouldn't have came out like that.
Exactly. Any other fighter would have came out pressuring John. He didn't. He let him relax. Like, what are you doing? He hasn't fought in 2 years. You should be on him. You know what I'm
No, you're
saying?
right. You're right. I agree with you. He just didn't. He didn't seem like he wanted to be there. And John, but John even said that himself. John even said that after watching a few of his promos, John said that look, he knows he's gonna beat him now because look at what he's saying. He's not even sound confident, and it's
Yeah,
true. He didn't sound confident. He sounded like he was already defeated. He
yeah,
sounded
that's
like
what
he
I'm
was
saying.
already defeated. You
So
know, and but you know, like I said, it's that's not John's fault. That's his fault. Like you coming in there slacking, John took advantage of it. I would have did the same thing too. Look, you want to take you want to come in there half-assing it. Okay, fine. I'm gonna beat your butt and I'm gonna take the title and walk out.
Hey,
Simple as that.
hey man, you know what it is. Combat Convo, great show. We'll be back, part 2.